it happens that the 10th initial surah in the Quran is number 19. The 19th initial surah happens to be 36. Okay? The 47th Gaussian prime corresponds to the 92nd actual prime. It happens that 47, remember I showed all of those geometric value of those people that you may know. Muhammad happens to be 92. Chapter 47 in the Quran is actually called Muhammad. Okay? So when you see those names for those chapters, they are not by accident. They were supposed to be called that because of these tables that I'm showing you. So these things are generating the Quran. Now you got to ask yourself this, okay? Are the numbers older or this universe? The numbers are older than this universe because the number existed before this universe was here. They are independent of this universe. Okay? So here, when we go to 764, 1514, look what happens here. 764 is 2 times 2 times 191. It's a triprime. Okay? And the indices of these is 1, 1, 4, 3. But remember, 1140 is 9 times 127. And that was the index of 1362, which was the number of verses from 11 to 9127. Okay? But 1514 happens to be the 1273rd composite. 1273 being equal to 19 times 67 is the number of word God from 11 to 9127. Okay? Now look at this. I talked about the triprimes. The 44 is the 9th triprime. Now let's see how it's connected to chapter 9. Okay? If you write all of the ha-memes in chapter 44, you notice this 44 has 150 memes or m and 16 ha's. Okay? And then the sum is 166. Let's look at the indices of this composite. 29, 114, 9, 127. Okay? Now let's see what the importance of these numbers are. There are 29 initial surahs in the Quran. There are 114 total surahs. Chapter 9 has 127 verses. Okay? The reason is because the 9th triprime is 44. That's why that chapter generates these. Okay? All right. Now let's look at natural laws. Okay? Natural laws are the laws that we're supposed to follow. If you do not follow God's natural laws, we are going to be in trouble. Okay? And so this universe was created based on natural laws. And the natural laws tells you, for example, what's supposed to be the abundances of different elements in different things. Okay? So here I'm gonna just put here Earth, Earth crust, and Earth atmosphere. And so the thing that's sort of hard to read at the bottom is the link for this table that I got it from. Okay. Universe is mostly made of hydrogen. Okay. Earth is mostly made of oxygen. You see that? Oxygen is the most. Hardly has any hydrogen in it. See, look over here. Okay. It hardly has any oxygen, any hydrogen in it. Okay. So anyway, so it's mostly made of hydrogen, and the sun is mostly made of hydrogen, 91%. Okay. Humans are mostly not hydrogen, 61% hydrogen, because we're mostly water. Okay? So if you look at this table at the bottom, we have more in common with the stars than we have with our Earth. Sort of we were sent to exile or something. Okay? But you know, look at this. This is interesting. Okay? So now we look at these guys here, O, C, and N. Okay? O, C, and N, or C and O, are the elements of life. Okay? And so we'll see here that O, C, and N are the most abundant in humans because that's how the DNA is constructed, from C and O. Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. Okay? And they happen to be, now I'll show you this. Okay? This is our own paper that we had in the International Conference of Cosmic Ray Physics, and that was in Tsukuba, Japan in 2003. And now look at this. This is what you measure with cosmic ray, the balloon experiment. So you send balloons to about 36 kilometers above the Earth, and at that place is basically vacuum. So you have a few grams of air there, but it's for all practical purposes a vacuum. And so what you actually measure is the primary cosmic rays that come from all over the universe. And so So these nuclei are easy to detect with balloon and satellite experiments. So that would be had a balloon. And so mostly again is hydrogen in the universe, and then helium, and then a little bit of lithium. But now look over here. After the hydrogen and helium, the most abundant elements are C and O in the cosmic rays. Okay? And look at a plant. This is chemical composition of plants. Chemical composition of plants, look at it. Okay? Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. Okay? Which tells you that when the universe was created, life was supposed to be an essential component of this universe, and it's abundant because that's the abundance of elements that actually corresponds to elements of life. Okay, so you see, look at this. It's hydrogen and oxygen. So when people actually look for life, they said look for water. Follow the water, and you'll find life. Okay, so every place you go, they try to find water. Okay, you go to Mars, they're trying to find water on Mars. Okay, so now look here. Oxygen is so prominent here and so abundant. Look at hydrogen. That means there's a lot of water in the universe. And now look at that. C is almost the same as oxygen. Okay, which means that carbon-based units or living organism based on C and O must be abundant. So the initial moment of creation, okay, life was supposed to be a huge component of
Can I ask you a question?
Yes?
Are you telling C and O or
C N O.
and nitrogen?
C N O. Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen.
Yeah.
Yes. That sort of sounds like C N O. Yeah.
I know, that's
I know.
why.
No,
But
it's
I knew it
C
was-
N O. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. And anyway, okay. Okay, and then this is the table of elements. Now look at this. This is so fascinating. Okay, the fascination that I have with this one is based on counting. It's simple counting. When you actually count, you generate elements. Okay, which actually becomes very, very easy to teach it to a 2-year-old. Okay, but unfortunately, we don't teach table of elements to the 2-year-olds. We wait until they are teenagers, and then we try to ram them down the throat, and then it becomes boring to them, and they don't want to learn. But if you tell them that, yeah, there is another language besides English or whatever your mother tongue is, and that's called physics and chemistry. And physics and chemistry, 1 is called hydrogen, okay? 2 is called helium. Before you know, that kid can count to 20, 30, 40, okay? In the physics and chemistry. So by the time he's a teenager or she's a teenager, she's okay. Okay? So, but we try to ram them down into, push it into their heads, okay? At that age of 16, then physics and chemistry becomes a really boring subject. They don't want to learn it anymore, okay? So you only have a few physicists and mostly lawyers, okay? That's the problem, okay? So here, if you show them how to count, if you taught them, if you teach them how to count at that age, they all learn, okay? So it's very easy. Okay, so, but the importance of it is that simple counting actually generates nature, okay? These are not prime numbers. These are just simple stuff, okay? Then can you imagine what I described there that actually generated the Quran, how important it is to actually follow the scripture, okay? And now, let me just say this, okay? That not only this mathematics actually validates the Quran, it actually validates the stories in other scriptures. When they say there was a flood at the time of Noah, it's mathematically coded in the Quran, so that means that story was correct in the Old Testament. You see? When Jesus healed the lepers in the Bible, it says the same thing in the Quran, but now this time it's mathematically coded because you and I didn't see it. We were not present at that time when Jesus did that. So we just have to hear it and sort of accept it on faith. But now God gives you a reason why it was true. And that reason is beyond human capability.